Just draining the oil out right now, and then I'll be able to remove the oil pan. And at that point, then I will probably just take it somewhere, or I will try to weld it up at my work. Not very good with welding aluminum, so I don't know if I really want to attempt it or not. We'll see. If not, I know a couple guys at my work that are pretty good at welding aluminum. So yeah, I'm gonna get this oil pan off. As you can see, I did already drop. The cradle is down out of the way. I pulled the filter and the plug and stuff, and I'm just letting it drain. Basically, to drop this cradle, it's only 4 bolts. It's actually pretty simple. 2 up front, and then you can see 1 is still dangling there. And then, let's get a light. And then there's 1 back there. And then as you can see, the 1 that's dangling right there. So yeah, it's just those 4. And then as far as just getting the cradle loose from the engine itself, bolt on each side for the motor mounts, or 1 nut I should say on each side, and that's basically it. This whole thing will drop out. I already had the steering rack unhooked, so you might have to unhook your steering rack as well to get it all the way down. But it is not terrible, and you can see now that once I unbolt this, I will be able to pull it out, and this will actually drop down further. I've just got it jacked up, but I'll actually be able to pull this out how it is right now. So it's not a terrible job if you have enough jacks and jack stands. I was pretty close to not having enough. You want to make sure the car's supported and you have the jack for the cradle and everything. So hot side is still needs a wastegate welded on, but once I get that welded on, I'm going to clean up. I'm going to clean this back up so it looks like this one where it's all shaved down, because I ended up using 2 passenger side headers instead of what I was originally going to use. I'm going to keep plugging away at this thing, hopefully get the oil pan off. It's Thursday today, so maybe get the oil pan off over this weekend. Alright, what's up guys? Going to do a quick update here on the GTO. I'm going to go real quick because I am actually working on Aaron's 0304-636. Recently had an issue with it not charging properly, so realized it was the regulator rectifier and the stator that both were kind of causing each other issues. I believe the regulator was the main issue. You can see here it had some melted wires and stuff. I think it was getting too hot. The new one that's in there, it's already set up in there now, has a lot beefier wires, and I think it's just going to be better for him. And then stator's still the same. Rick's actually makes pretty good stators. It's the same one that's in my bike now, and it's been good for a while. I think his issue was just the regulator. So yep, that's what I'm doing now. We're actually going on the Doomsday ride in Chicago next month, so I'll probably film that too while I'm down there. Get a video out for you guys, more about bikes and stuff, because I'm sure that's what a lot of you want to see anyway, besides this GTO stuff. But anyway, this is where I'm at now. The cam is installed. Just got the oil pan pulled off here. Getting ready to tap it to weld on the bung wherever it's at. It's here somewhere, but right here. To weld on this bung in the front of the oil pan, it's gonna go right there, and then it'll have a little 90 that tees off, and then runs up to the turbo. I also have the feed plate from ICT, which runs right there up front as well. It bolts into that, where that is right here. So I will get that installed too, so then I'll have it set up for my feed. The line that they sent for that is also too small, so I got another line coming in the mail. Just got my Mellings oil pump in and installed. So that's all good to go. If I did end up getting a new water pump as well, because I figured, you know, why not? If I'm already taking it apart, might as well replace it. Looks a little better, it's a lot cleaner. Nothing was wrong with mine, but might as well replace it while you're doing it, because they're not very expensive. It's like $100. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I'll take that to work and get that bung welded in probably Monday. It's Saturday now, I think. So yep, but like I said, the cam's in, the springs, all that stuff, valve springs, push rods, all that stuff is installed and in the car already. So basically once I get that tapped for the oil pan, all I have to do is put it all back together, and anything I need to do engine wise is basically done, because all I really needed to do was upgrade the springs and push rods and stuff like that. But I went ahead and put a cam in it anyway, just because it'll help with power and my end goal. So yep, that's where I'm at now. I'm gonna work on Aaron's bike, finish getting the stator in, which shouldn't be too bad. And then once again, I'm just kind of waiting on parts and stuff to come in. Just got to get the old stator out, and then put new Loctite on the threads, because you don't want those backing out. That's actually what happened on my 09. They ended up backing out, and then I thought the bike had locked up, but really it was just one of these bolts hitting on the inside of the case. Yeah, it's just one of these bolts hitting on the inside of the case. So yeah, you definitely want to get new Loctite on those every time you do it. It's just a really common problem for 0304s. Anyone who's had one has probably put a stator in it at one point, or honestly just all the Ninja 600s and 636s. So yeah, I'm throwing that in right now. I'm waiting on oil, so I can't start it for you guys to show you what to check for, but basically you'd hook up a voltage regulator after everything's back in, start it and read the power to the battery and how many volts your battery has. The reason I could tell it was bad is because when I had it hooked up, it started at 12 or 13 with the battery tender, and it just slowly dropped to almost nothing. Yeah, even with throttle it was still dropping, so I could tell it wasn't charging the battery at all. So that's either regulator or stator, and in this case you normally just want to replace both, because you don't want the hassle of having to replace one down the road. So yep, go ahead and do this now. And there's the old one out. No super visible signs telling me it's ruined. There's a little heat there, you can kind of tell. But yeah, you just don't want to run the risk. There's no point. For the price, you might as well just replace both. I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of this old Loctite cleaned out of here best I can. I don't know if you can see it, but it's all gunked up in there pretty good. So I'm going to try and clean that out best I can, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the new one in. Now that these are installed, we can go back over to the bike section and get ready to start putting it on. You are able to reuse that gasket I have many a times, as long as it's in okay shape, which mine is, so I'm going to go ahead and reuse it. Kind of a pain with a cage. If you're careful, at least with this cage, I was able to not have to take the cage off, and that magnet will kind of suck it in there, just make sure that the holes line up and everything's in place. Then you can go ahead and get all of your bolts back in. And these are just 8mm, so I guess for removal it'd be the same. Plugs on the regulator. I got the other one already plugged in. It runs into the main harness, and then the other plug is for the stator. So just like that, I'll show you that quick. This is the plug I just plugged in for the stator, and this is the other one that runs into the main harness. They are specific, so you can't plug in the wrong one, so that's super simple. Yeah, and that's how kind of it was set up and sitting in there, so that's how it went back. So now that's all done, this is basically done. Just make sure this isn't going to get in the way of anything too crazy hot. And yeah, that's it. Pretty simple. So this should be all good to go. Just need to get oil back into it. And once I do that, this thing will be ready to rip. That's basically it on that. Like I said, we will be going to Chicago next month. Just me and Aaron. I'll obviously take the 600, and all I really need to do to that before we go is maybe just an oil change, and I want to put on new brake pads, I guess. They're getting really low. So yeah, that's all I'll need for this, and it'll be ready to rip. I do want to go big rotor on this soon, but all my money is in the GTO right now, and all my focus is on the GTO right now, so it's fine for now. It'll work. Gonna run with what I got, and yeah, Chicago should be a blast. Be the first time I've ever gone, first year I've ever gone anyway. Should be pretty fun. I'm just gonna go down for the weekend for the ride, and then head back probably Sunday. So yeah, like I said, I'll try and film that and get a video made for that. Should be pretty sweet. But thanks for watching. This was just a quick update on the GTO and a little bit of work on the bike. So I'll see y'all in the next one.